Version1. Sentinels, as you see, are going to be starting off on attack, excuse me. Going to work their way towards B, at least initially, see what they can find.
Yeah, I like the initial pressure coming through from Sentinels towards the B site. You want to have, force the pop of the toxic screen straight away, get rid of that fuel. And teams will often have this situation where it's like, you don't want to push that because of course you're going to take that 50 decay straight away and you're so softened up. But you do need to pressure it away at least. And they're just going to go through with this, Doug, and keep it simple. And sometimes that is the best approach.
Full send, baby, as 3 members of V1 have already dropped onto the site. Vanity and Zelsis both going to show up a little late. Zelsis was cooking up something on the flank while Vanity actually took his gate crash shortly after the hit started on the site. So he found himself on the opposite side of the map, not really able to engage into anything early on. See if he can do anything with that flash. No, he's going to drop. Zelsis left alone. So I think one of the things I want to keep an eye on, Dan, is we talk about Viper utility, right? And the pressure that's placed on the map and how teams often play around that and the mind games that are there. I think the fun thing, in my opinion, about Yoru, which is why I'm excited to see him get a little bit more love, is in a lot of ways, that's the same approach, right? Like, is the gate crash going to get taken or is it not? Are the pop flashes going to have anything following up behind it or not? There's so much mind games that can be played with that agent's kit.
Yeah, I totally agree. And there's definitely a lot of exciting possibilities. Valorant is a game where, people might follow certain trends and metas, but really there is no objective best way to play in any sense, even though you might see what looks strong right now in the meta, as we see this anti-eco coming forth from Sentinels. Dapper's going to be able to make light work of a couple players, and with that, it should be pretty easy to close down the round from here. But just want to, again, send home this point. One of the most exciting reasons we want to see this international tournaments, because this isn't a game like Counter-Strike where you have these dominant regions where they're able to kind of get the best practice, grinding the fundamentals, and really improving what everybody knows to be sort of the best way to play the game at this point. Instead, you have the ability to create a lot of surprises with lots of different gimmicks, if you will, as well as just creating really interesting compositions which allow you to do lots of different things in the mid round, or maybe it's about playing for delay and playing for the late round. And there's lots of different ways to take map control and lots of different ways to, for example, we've got no smoke setups or heavy flat. There's just so many different ways to go, right? So it's all about how well-rounded you are in dealing with all this crazy menagerie of things you might be up against. So into the first buy rounds, of course it's going to be a bonus for Sentinels. We'll have to see what they're able to do with these Spectres.
You see the 2 fake steps went through teleport early on to give the illusion that there's play happening, there's pressure happening around right outside of Hookah, but they're going to pull off. You still have the 2 remaining members of V1 who are playing on A. See if they can cook anything up. Vanity and Whippy both there. Going to back up off a little bit, and you see the remaining members of Version1 have already arrived, but Sentinels have gotten onto the site. And 10's in a great... Oh, no. He got one, but he got traded right back out. Both teams, have dropped a couple of members here early on as the spike has been planted. There's so much Viper utility to play around. I mean, it's just nestled in there safely, and V1 have to push through that just to get access on anything. The gate crash is there. Penny swings out for one. Vanity looking for a bit more, as it seems like V1 have been able to take the site back seemingly effortlessly. Man, that was beautiful.
Yeah, that was a really nice retake, and it's one of those things too where if you're unable to hold on to these key positions, such as U-Haul, that's a really big one. We saw those positions traded out fairly quickly. Things can start to crumble pretty quick on this defensive side. And you can see Tens is trying to get in there to try to backstab that, but ultimately Version1 in winning this U-Haul control, you can see that the 2 players that remain are so spread apart between Showers and Short, they can't help each other. So it gives a huge advantage to the retaking players, because they are able to play off of each other so much more effectively. But that was the bonus rounds, so all things considered, makes sense. And we get to see already some of the use of that utility gate crash at the back of the site, able to get that info aggressively short B, and then can TP back to way after getting that info. So some good early shenanigans from to see what we all expect from Yoru.
Love me some shenanigans. Whippy losing the initial. Gun battle as he drops. We mentioned Vanity took the teleport along with the fake out. He's going to walk his way all the way around into a flank. Now the Viper's Pit has gone down, but V1 have already taken care of the majority of what Sentinels brought to the fight. Dapper and Shazam, the two remaining members who are playing in the Viper's Pit right now. Spike hasn't been playing it yet. Now Dapper's starting to get this down. Shazam playing close. You see some of Effie's using some of that utility to try to get some information into what's happening in the pit. Oh, Shazam's gonna get cleaned up. It's just Dapper, and Dapper's so weak, he has to play outside of it, so you're about to see this Viper's Pit go down. They have no idea where Dapper is here. For the footsteps. Effie's gonna get it, might be able to get it to half. All right, got it to half, but he drops. Again, his position has been given away here in a 2v1. Effie's is gonna stick it. Zelsis is gonna get the third on the round. V1 tie us up at 2 apiece.
Scary, scary stuff there. Dapper really in an interesting position. I love the use of the poison orb, and just trying to buy time. And the Viper's Pit is it feels like there's so much gambling happening when you're around that pit because of the lack of vision. You know, we saw Shazam looking for a moment to kind of just find the right timing, maybe hearing some footsteps to just swing out and just catch somebody off guard. It's obviously, you know, can go well for you sometimes, and sometimes it's just the timing won't work out. And that's going to be an equalizing situation. Now, to a piece version 1. Looking pretty good right now. We get a Viper's Pit coming in from them on that B site. And the question is, will this deter Sentinels? Sentinels should still try to pressure Hookah, trying to clear out this position, because you don't want to have the defenders have the information as to whether you've left any players there. That's a pretty key factor. And at the same time, like, there's this mind game of, okay, the Viper's Pit's there. Will the defenders rotate off of B, expecting us as the attackers to go back to A? So Sentinels are playing the mind games here, and it looks like they want to commit into this. But the mind games, speaking of which, version 1 also have that read. They're gambling that they're going to do just that. So this might be absolutely ridiculous what we're about to see.
It's like we're on an old episode of a Nickelodeon show with Slime covering really every single screen that we've seen. Now, Sick does have the showstopper, and sure enough, Sick dashes his way in. Nope, he's gonna go. Okay, he got one. He did get traded out, but V1 continue to hold fast. Shazam and Dapper have both already dropped. Vanity in a good spot. Takes a dimensional drift at just the right time, and he's gonna get away for free, just narrowly avoiding death as V1 hold on to the site, clean up Sentinels to take the lead.
Yeah, and again, it's just the mind games. It's so interesting because Sentinels, you know, the longer they wait there, they have to be worrying that version 1 might be getting info by pushing A. But version 1 actually expected that Sentinels would just say, you know what, we think that you think that we're going to do this, so we're going to. So, you know, it's like one of those situations. So it's an interesting precedent to set. So I'm curious next time the Viper's Pit goes down, what the 50-50 is going to be, because it does get to that point where it's a kind of a coin flip as to what the defenders and the attackers are going to do. But it's down to the sheriffs here, and Sentinels looking to try to group up short, but this is never easy. You know, you're walking into so much util. They want to try to force at least a couple kills, keep the economy honest for version 1, but it's not looking like that's gonna happen right now because they can't even really get vision. With that said, oh my goodness, Dapper! He's found a couple excellent frags, and that's hey man, 2 kills in a round like that, I think they're happy.
Almost got a third. I mean, Vanity was just down to 5 health. Yeah, I think you're right overall. To hurt some of that financial footing that version 1 had, you kind of take that as a win. But that said, V1 do have a 2-round lead here. And one of the things that I want to keep an eye on is, so well, we'll see if it plays out. That gate, or the fake out going through teleporter into front hookah, is not just to draw attention. It's not just to draw eyes. Oftentimes you'll see that as a counter to the Roomba that's looking to establish control in hookah.
Standing ahead.
Yeah, it's a great way to be active as the defenders in a way that's quite safe as well. Mm-hmm. Because the attackers more to worry about. And we might get a showers control play here. So the operator will deal with the drone, and usually after that, you know, you have to fall back, you have to reload, and during that time, the attackers could move into forward position. So you play it safe, you fall back into the next spot, which is back triple as far as Vanity is concerned. And you can see the pace has slowed down massively here for Sentinels. They got that showers control. The question now at the 1 minute mark for version 1 is, should we make an information play or not? And Sentinels, if they keep playing very, very slowly, they might be able to catch that if that were to be the case for version 1. But version 1 happy to sit in this 2-for-3 setup at the moment, which I think is a good call this early in the game when you don't have a good read on the tendencies of Sentinels just yet. And Sentinels are just going to group up for that B-long 3-man split with the 2 players coming through hookah. And there's the backside recon to try to get some info.
Oh, there's info for you, Whippy. Taking the from the shadows back into the belly of the beast, understanding exactly where the remaining members of Sentinels are. Sick is already dropped. Here comes the showstopper, not going to get a chance at anything as Penny gets cleaned up before he gets a chance to bring that online. Viper Smith going to join the fold as well, as it's just ultimate after ultimate in this round. Sentinels have gotten onto the site. The spike is not down yet. Vanity's in a great spot, Dan. They don't have elbow control. That just makes the retake tank so much more powerful, so much more potent, because they can apply pressure from so many different angles.
Yeah, getting in right now is going to be very difficult. Oh, that's an easy one for Tense. He can't afford to miss a shot like that. And now Sentinels just have an insurmountable advantage here holding this site. And Zelsis is really all he can do to try to get some extra economic damage in here. But what a great round from Sentinels. I don't want to, count Zelsis out, but it really does look impossible. And he'll move through and get taken down. And one thing to note here is that Sentinels just showed version 1 an extremely slow round. So what that does is it actually makes version 1 less likely to want to play for mid-round information. Because if Sentinels are playing really slow and you try to play for information, you try to push a short, you try to push showers or something like that, they might just be waiting for you and they'll just trap you. So it discourages mid-round information plays from version 1. Having a slow pace like that. So we'll see how that impacts some of these future rounds as we go into another buy versus buy, and it's looking like Sentinels will default again, getting showers control and then working from there.
Slightly different flavor of a default here from Sentinels, as it looks like now it's not just a drone that's taking aggressive positioning across showers, it's actually Tens who's taking some of that forward positioning. But I mean, they really haven't. It's been touch and go so far. I like the Viper utility, right? You see that wall coming up across A, and that was very similar to what we've seen the last couple of rounds. They've played around that a lot. And here it is again. This is almost identical to what we saw in the previous round. Like, the utility goes up as they're rotating away, and it's just enough to make them guess, make them think about whether or not A is actually the hit.
Yeah, the toxic screen that gets placed on that A side as well. There's some points that are important about what that does, but we'll go into that in a moment, because we do have a take coming through onto Hookah. More forward position from Penny, but looks like Sentinels are more than ready for this, and they're going to take these early engagements happily, as it doesn't seem like version 1 have all that much to do. They unfortunately did not find the engagements in the way that they needed to. And look at Zelsis, he's just trapped. He's going to get spammed down, and then there's only 2 left after that. So you highlighted it, Doug. This round was pretty much identical as far as what Sentinels were doing was concerned. And version 1, they tried to play it slow again, and it just didn't work out. They tried to play it passively, didn't work out. So the next thing that normally you do in this situation, if you're in version 1's position, is you try to take some aggression somewhere at the early timing of the round, based off of what Sentinels are doing. Now, if you are Sentinels and your caller's really on point, what you do is you think, they're going to make an adaptation. These are the adaptations that make sense specifically against what we're doing. So that narrows down what you're expecting as Sentinels. And so you can throw something at version 1 where you're like, okay, we think they're going to do a huge showers play, which means most of their players will be committed showers at the start of the round. So if we heavily push, let's say, the B side of the map and you switch it up in that moment, we're going to get a free site. Stuff like this. That's the kind of level that the in-game leaders are starting to think about after you have this early round conditioning for a few rounds. So this is a huge round insofar as the conditioning. I didn't even get time to talk about toxic screen, but maybe later, Doug.
Well, we know World Clash Shazam has this reputation for doing homework on teams and being really one of the best IGLs North America has to offer. So at least initially, V1 not stacking heavily, very similar setup, right? You see the fake out going through the teleporter. Not going to be clearing out room, but as you see, Sick hasn't actually used that. I know we're dialing in on something so small, but it's so common to see that bot be used to establish hookah control, and that makes B so much more difficult to deal with. But understanding that fake out's on the other side, he has not invested that. Now it comes out.
And this toxic screen as well. This toxic screen is really problematic because it allows, if you do lurk a player into showers, it creates a spot where the line of sight is cut, so you can't just play two players as comfortably on the A site because someone could just lurk out showers if you're worrying about too much about short, or vice versa. If you worry too much about the shower side, then you can't as effectively defend the short side, and people could lurk up short. So it creates a huge argument that you kind of want to keep three players towards A, which is why we've largely seen that in all of the gun rounds actually from version 1's defense. But here comes the push.
Have to. Cosmic Divide comes out. You hear the 100 Street coming out from Effie's as well, who's still playing back on the site, causing some havoc, cleaning up members of Sentinels as Shazam drops. Whippy looking to snap. The spike goes down as well. That's big. 25 seconds left. Sentinels have to reestablish control of the site and get the spike. They've managed to do at this point, but again, Whippy's in a great spot to blow things up. He's on the flank. Oh, excuse me, it was Zelsis. Zelsis good for one. Whippy gets the last one, the third on the round. V1 take the lead again.
Yeah, excellent hold there from version 1. And that's great stuff. You know, you want to see stuff like this from them. You know, they're not in the best of positions, ultimately speaking, on the weaponry and otherwise. But you know what? These are great players hitting their shots, showing that they can do a lot with just the fundamentals. And they're fighting back. So version 1, you know, going again against this default now as Sentinels, it will surely come through again. As I say that, though, we actually have, it's going to look like the default. We're going to get the recon dart towards the showers position, but we're not going to see TenZ lurking through showers to take control behind the recon as he has been. Instead, they've mixed it up. They're putting 4 players towards B here, so it's just not the same round. It looks like the same opening as far as V1 are concerned, but it's not. And interestingly, version 1 seem to have blindly understood that this is the case, and they have a 4-man stack to defend B.
Showstopper coming in from Sick. Love that, waiting for the leer before he blasts his way across, clearing that corner, not going to land, looking for a little something onto Whippy, gets it. 12 health left. He patiently waits for his team to show up, join the party. Zoms is still pretty far off the site, as now the remaining members of version 1 are starting to rotate around. Zelsis is on the flank as Vanity showing up as well. You can tell Zom's just kind of waiting for it, understanding there's likely a chance that they push in. But the thing is, Dan, they're pinched here. They're stuck. They've got to commit to B. They're going to have to fight their way through what Vanity and the rest of version 1 have brought to the fold. As Vanity takes the gate crash out.
30 seconds left. Spike planted.
Oh, Zelsis.
No charges left.
Zelsis in a great spot, good for one, but the clock continues to tick away. They know where Dapper is as Vanity creeps his way forward. Dapper spotting one, that should be the call. But for one, Zom's left alone. In a 1v2, Vanity tap. Trying to bait that out. Zoms has great info of where they are. He might be able to isolate the gunfights. If he isolates the gunfights, he can win the 1v2, make that a 1v1, and Zoms wins it for Sentinels. A clutch round to tie us up at 5.
Ooh, that's nasty from Zoms. Oh my goodness. Zoms is great to watch. He always looks so just calm and patient. I don't know if it's like a combination of his slow sense and just his kind of unwavering confidence. He's a player that, like, a lot of players will want to kind of keep moving, but Zoms will sometimes just, you know, you'll see him and he won't move. He'll just stand there and then wait for you to repeat and he'll just nail you. So he's got great reactions as well. And that did seem like, you know, Zelsis got a little bit worried there. He went very deep. Didn't necessarily have to come out hookah just there, but either way, 5-5, as you said, and we're back to that default this time. You know, with that recon, it's back to the usual setup where TenZ will use that recon to take control of showers, drone through to try to take control of short A as well. Forces out the paranoia. That's a huge maneuver. Now, Sentinels can keep the round slow if they want and re-exec, but they might just go straight in here. The paranoia is already gone. The rotation is not in just yet. And Sick, he had to get that one. Whippy holds onto this position. Whippy knows that he can't stay alive there for much longer. Uses the TP to get out of there. Penny's going to get out as well with the frag. Beautiful work from version 1 so far. They maintain the 4v3 advantage onto this retake.
He's late, but Whippy, oh no. Just narrowly clip running dry, not able to land the shots onto Dapper's position's been given away, and he's punished for it. Dapper with 12 health left. Wall goes up again. Shazam's just get whipped on by Zelsis. Snaps on his dome, cleans him up. Penny pushing through the smoke, gets one as well. Zombs is in a 1v3, a great spot to make something happen though. Does he have the magic in him again? Already good for one, but Penny's gonna stick it all the way there. The Mad Lad looking to steal it right out of under his nose, and he does just that.
Zombs is so scary, man. But this time, not going to pan out for him exactly. But yeah, it's just great work from version 1. If you look at the way that they handle the fights there, super smart. You know, we get the, Whippy gets that kill. He tries to get out of there. Doesn't try to hold the position. Holding U-Haul's huge, but he recognizes, hey, I've already got a man advantage for the team. And I believe the same thing, one of their teammates, I think it was Penny, I want to say, also picked up one kill and then faded out of the sight. So they had a massive advantage on the retake. I just love the way that they handled that. It's really cool. And Sentinels for this last round of the first half, going to go heavy into B-Long, but there are a lot of players here. There's a Dimensional Rift as well. All that information is there. Penny's going to take down the first player, and Shazam at least gets the trade, but surely he's not in the best of spots here. He will back away. And out comes the Viper's Pit. The Showstopper's flying. The push for this B site is real right now, but Sentinels are losing players quickly.
Oh my gosh. They are indeed, but Dapper trades it right back with the Judge. 2 Viper's Pits were used there. You love that fake from Whippy, right? Maybe think twice about it. Penny good on the flank, already good for one. He's going to have to back up, though, as the Viper's Pit is offline. And now it's Shazam for Sentinels, who finds himself in a 1v2. The thing is, Dan, they have no earthly idea where this man is. You can tell V1 they're guessing, right? Whippy's on the other side, Penny's here, and again, that gives the 1vX an opportunity to clutch things out. If they can isolate the gunfights, he's got a fighting chance. He also has the spike. So with 36 seconds left, it goes down. He's paranoid up. Oh, Shazam had him, had a spot on, but no, it's Whippy again who answers the call for V1. An excellent addition to the team. And, Dan, as this round wraps up, I want to go back to the previous round because something that really impressed me, and you touched on it, right? It was how Version 1 played, getting a couple of kills and then getting out. But for Whippy specifically, he didn't just get out. He didn't just use the From the Shadows to get to safety, back into defender spawn or anything like that. He went into showers, right? Like understanding in that split moment, yes, I can get out and be safe, or I can get out and be safe and put myself in a position to apply more pressure as the round goes on. And as we know, he unfortunately ran out of bullets, wasn't able to clean up anything with it, but just the game sense, really, to have the wherewithal to go there in that moment is just really impressive.
Yeah, definitely great stuff from version 1 so far. I'm liking the discipline. We're seeing the good fundamentals, and there's so many good things to talk about. We'll see, though, if there's a recovery to be made here. Going into the second half, Sentinels on the defense now against version 1. 2-round deficit for them, though. Sick will try to slow things down with the boombot, but they are feeling that a push, and the rotation needs to come through. The question, though, is there a commitment? You can see that the utility has been pulled out. That's a big pull. They took the paint shells out of the hands of Sentinels, didn't do anything. They took the boombot away as well. And all they've really done is they've traded some time on the clock for that. And right now, Sentinels don't know what's going on. So it's always a bit tricky in a pistol round. You don't necessarily want to try to find the information as heavily as you would maybe in a gun round, because you can get more done with the pistols. You have more movement possibilities. So it's going to work out that Sentinels will keep 3 players on B here.
There was info. It was quiet. Once again, Vanity trying to get away with the gate crash. Intense cleans him up just in the nick of time. He's already gotten 2 with the Ghost, and there's great information to understand where the rest of them are. Gets cleaned up for the third. Tens gets another one onto Whippy. As Zelsa shows up. He was playing back showers this entire time. He's now going to show up to the site. He's going to get cleaned up. A 4K on the round for Tens. A great pistol for Sentinels as they bridge the gap down to 1.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with Tens on this Ghost in really any position whatsoever. The dismiss was perfect. That couldn't have gone better for Sentinels. And again, you just they made the right read. Just hold the position in those spots where you just don't know what the opponent's going to be doing. It's not really a strong argument either way. So just hold position and just be strong and safe and confident in those positions. And that's going to give them that opening advantage. Up against the eco round now. That will be coming 4th from version 1. A couple of sheriffs in their hands, but that's about it. Fantasy and Whippy will be the players trying to get the damage done on the Yoru and Omen respectively.
that's clean. Right, Dapper's just sitting there waiting with open arms. A great understanding where that pressure's coming from. Looking for a second. Yep, gun difference. That's felt right there as Penny gets cleaned up as well. He got away with 1 health, so he's certainly not as well off as he was a couple of moments ago, but they got what they wanted, and they've managed to do so, right? Like, Dan, they've managed to get the 2 kills to have the round lead without having lost anyone yet.
Yeah, this is how you want to do it. Just play to your strengths. Make sure that you are mitigating the options of the opponent, because there's only so many options where you can have an advantage with the pistols. So if you know what that is, then you know, and then you can know how to play against it. And this has been executed very well here by Sentinels. Zealous is going to have to hit a nice sheriff shot, doesn't manage to land it, and the running Spectre will do the job to finish things off. They equalize the score 7-7, and we're going to see that bonus round coming through now for Sentinels as they play against Version1's bye. And the question is, as it always will be, what will Sentinels do with this? Do they opt to play a passive setup, or do they want to try to get those Spectres, so some value out of the Spectres early on by controlling the way that you have the fight? Because the Spectre doesn't do well in a straight up gun duel at range against a Phantom or a Vandal, right. But if you can engineer a fight where it's going to be close to medium range and you're calling the shots, now we're talking. Now you've mitigated that disadvantage, and it's going to be, by the looks of things, some B-long control coming through from Version1, but there is from Sentinels, there's a couple players here. We get the drone from Shazam, and it's going to spot that. A 4-1 setup here for Version1. We'll see how far they want to go here, Doug. They may just decide to take this forward control. They still have the lurk from Vanity on the other side of the map. Ooh, that's a good start for Sentinels, though.
And Dan, that was what you were highlighting, right? Put your Spectres, put your Stinger, Spectres, whatever it is, in this case the Spectres, in a position to win gunfights that you wouldn't win otherwise, right? Don't take those long duels, play around your smokes, play your tight corners, and give yourself a chance to win, or you may not be able to do so. And now Version1, they're down 2 members. They still have their rifles, but certainly don't have the advantage that they would have had otherwise as they play around A short.
Yeah, it seemed like Version1 were not necessarily expecting there to be the kind of fortified position on B-long. They were expecting, I think, Garden to somewhat be given up by their pressure. That maybe that pressure will be respected more. But again, with the Spectres out, you actually want to, as you said, you want to take those fights if you're Sentinels. And Zom just got the info. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, but Tens was just waiting, right? He was just right under the window. He never peeked out. Then he swings out. He's able to clean up 1 as Sentinels really take V1 apart in that round. And the bonus, man, like financially speaking, Dan, that's huge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's such a great start for Sentinels. There's no doubt about it. And it does give them the option as well that when the next gun round versus gun round happens, or full buy round, I should say, it's probably a little bit less cumbersome. It is going to be the case that Sentinels, they don't have to bring out the operators just yet. They can leave that look for a little bit later as the money keeps growing. And they can throw in some extra aggression and feel more confident to do so because they have more of a buffer to work with.
And now V1 are back on pistols, while Sentinels currently have 3 of their 5 members with over 4,600 credits in their pockets, right? Like, you're setting yourself for such long-term success if you can win that bonus, and that's so difficult to do. But the best teams in the world manage to, as we mentioned, put themselves in positions, craft the gunfights the way they want to give them the advantage.
So once again, we're seeing Sentinels just playing the distance game, playing long ranges, forcing Version1 to have to like collapse onto the site. Because the time is against Version1. It's up to them to plant that spike. They have to come forward. They've got to make the maneuver to do that. And Sentinels can wait for it. They don't care if the spike goes down. They don't care that a little bit of extra money is available for Version1. Because if they're able to force Version1 to take forward more risky positions and then collapse and get a more guaranteed result, then they're going to take that. And that's, so far, it's looking like that's working out phenomenally well.
30 seconds left.
And the spike's not even being planted.
No. And again, the clock just continues to tick away. Zom's in a great spot, too. If it was difficult before, it just became damn near impossible there, and it gets cleaned up. It was an excellent flank by Zoms. He took back U-Haul control, blew the play up to give Sentinels a 2-round lead. And, I mean, look at Tense is sitting on 8,700. And he didn't have to buy anything this round. Shazam, 7,900. He bought a little bit. Now Tens is going to buy some as well, but you feel the financial pressure that comes from losing the bonus if you're V1. Now they're back on a rifle, but they're broke.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best look in the world. And it's interesting too because, you know, Dapper, we haven't seen him too much on the Viper, but the last time he played Viper was actually against Under Thieves on Binds, and he had an insanely good game there as well. So, you know, Dapper knows what he's doing, man. He's one of the smartest players in the game, in my opinion. Very intelligent player. And they're going to start off well again, just taking down Vanity with that opening duel. And oh, this Version1 just going to try to walk up short A. This is looking a little bit desperate here, Doug.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's much of a way in at all, Dan. And you can even see what they were trying to do. Vanity was set up in showers. He used the fake out. He pushed up with it as well to give the impression that there was a whole lot more like hack behind that punch, but it was just him. He gets cleaned up, and at that point, they were committed to A, right? Like you saw them slow walk their way in through a short, and Sentinels was just able to clean them up. Dan, that looked easy.
Yeah, it really did. Sentinels controlling the space around the site really effectively. They're slowing the opponents down when they need to. They're bogging them down with that utility of their own and taking advantageous fights where they're very confident that, you know, the pre-aim's perfect. And conversely, if you look at it from Version1's perspective, on their screens, it's looking like very difficult fights. They're slowed down by everything. It's like they're stuck in the mud. It's very, very difficult. A nice forward Astra smoke. Liking that a lot to try to pressure short B here. This is, you know, what we're talking about. Sentinels, you know, once again controlling space. And now, you know, for Version1, you can see there's the flash and Vanity. You got to be careful of these close positions. They're actually going to speed things up straight through Hookah as a five-man push.
Oh, the gravity well comes through from Zombs to try to delay things. Yeah, Vanity made his way out with the dimensional drift, but that was it. Sick creeping his way forward, doesn't even get a chance as Whippy was in a great spot to nullify that threat. Effie's with the Sheriff, looking for a little something. He's got the Hunter's Fury in his back pocket as well. As V1 have a chance at this thing, the spike slowly starting to come down, and Shazam's going to use the Hunter's Fury to delay it for just a moment, and he's going to get the kill onto Effie's. Whippy left alone, spike not in hand, sight control not had. This does not look good.
Oh, God, yeah, this is terrible. Whippy has time, but the problem is, as you say, there are so many gambles you have to make in a position like this, and you can't check everything. And so Whippy's just going to have Lady Luck on his side as he moves forward, grabs the spike, and there it is. It's a crossfire scenario. This is really, you know, winning that one for Whippy, and Sentinels still looking in control. It was a great round. It was a great attempt from Version1.
Yeah.
Though, with that said, they weren't going into that round very much. It was a five-man push through Hookah, and now we're back into the full buy for both sides. And it would be cool to see an operator or here from Sentinels. Looks like Tense is not going to pick that one up on the Reyna. And yeah, we haven't really seen an operator here at all from Sentinels, despite their economy. They're pretty confident just to maintain this full rifle buy. And once again, we'll see Version1 focusing on the B side of the map. They may have more success this time. They got the Hunter's Fury there to pressure Garden, but there's no setup there. It's very unfortunate for Version1.
Oh boy. There's the setup. The setup is tense on the site. Zombs gets it as well. Vanity, though, cleaning up a couple of his own, getting his way onto the site. Whippy's made his way there as well. Now Sentinels are starting to show up. Vanity gonna dash his way out. My gosh, they're gonna flip the map, Dan. Oh, it's a fake the entire time. I love that. That's beautiful. Effie's gets on the side as well. The mind games in that entire round. Dan, they got onto the site. They looked like they had control. Then he gate crashes out to potentially flip the map. The fake out goes through the teleport to sell that fake. And then he doubles right back. V1, for as disastrous of a half as this has been, especially financially, V1 had full control of that round.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing, you know, those glimpses of brilliance in some of these rounds. As you say, like this half has definitely been characterized by Sentinel's dominance, but you see those glimpses, and that's critical because, you know, it shows that Version1 is still really in the game. They have their heads in the game, and you know, sometimes, you know, I don't like to, you know, talk about luck too much, but, you know, sometimes, you know, things just don't go your way. But Version1, they're still here to play, and Sentinels have this more passive setup on the B side. Once again, Version1 keeping the pace really quick here, and We're going to get those trays coming through onto the site. The spikes down. The Viper Pit is out as well. But Zoms has garden control. That's a big win for Sentinels here.
They feel some of that pressure. Yeah, they had to take care of him. Zoms gets cleaned up. Shazam does as well. As V1 seem to have figured something out in the last couple of rounds, but they still have to clean this one up. Sick. On the other side of the Viper's Pit. Yep. Sick. Good Ron DeZelsis. As he and Dapper, buddy system, making it work. Sick. Good for a second one as well. Equalizing things down to a 2v2. Dapper's just so weak, though. He's got 30 health. Vanity can swing around. Sick. Good for 3. Sick in a 1v1 against Penny. Sick just down to 33 health, though, and the clock continuing to tick away. Penny can just play this out for time. Sick, baby, you call him Sick because that boy's cold. He comes up huge for Sentinels and gets the defuse to take him to map point.
What a incredibly good flick there from Sick. You could tell that he wasn't ready for that, but those gamer instincts, man, they just take over. This little micro correction. That's one of those shots where I think that even Sick doesn't consciously know that he's done what he's done. He's just, his body is just doing what it's being programmed to do over countless hours of grind. And beautiful stuff from him. Penny goes down, as you say. That's the first map almost in the bag, but not quite. Version 1 still definitely with more than a puncher's chance here. Of course, they can't make a mistake, but they've got a good buy. Oh, we get the gravity well coming through. The aggression from Sentinels, and 3 players straight away are just gone. And Sick is looking for more. Shazam will take down Vanity, and this is the most ruthless, brutal, savage way that they could possibly have tried to end this game, I feel like. And there it is, the flawless. Of course, we talked about statements, Doug, and there is certainly a statement